Hi, we already discussed about the pathophysiology of vomiting, which is nothing but chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. So, now what are the factors that induces vomiting? What are the factors that stimulates the vomiting center is the first one CTZ means chemoreceptor trigger zone, and the next one vestibular nuclei, motion sickness, which is nothing but a labyrinth, and a higher brain center where the sense organs like eye, pain, smell, sight, and some emotional factors which causes vomiting. And then another one is stomach also. In stomach we'll see the 5-HT receptors that stimulates the vomiting center. And what are the receptors stimulating the vomiting center means first one histamine 1 receptors, muscarinic receptors, 5-HT receptors, dopamine 2 receptors, and the next one 5-HT3 receptors. These are the receptors that stimulates the vomiting center and triggers the vomiting reflex. So in managing the chemoreceptor nausea and vomiting, we have to stop the receptors, we have to block the receptors by using the medications such as histamine antagonists, muscarinic antagonists, dopamine antagonists, and cannabinoids, and also 5-HT3 antagonists. Here we are using benzodiazepines and NK1 antagonists. NK1 antagonist is nothing but neurokinin antagonist. Why we are using we are using histamine, muscarinic, dopamine antagonists to block those receptors. But why we are using NK1 antagonist means NK1 neurokinin 1 antagonist just boost the means it increases the efficacy of 5-HT3 antagonist. In preventing nausea and vomiting, neurokinin 1 antagonist helps to promote the prevention of nausea and vomiting. So we are using NK1 antagonist along with the 5-HT3 receptors. Okay, now we'll see about what are the types of chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. There are 4 types. The first one is acute, means it occurs within 24 hours following the administration of chemotherapy, means within the 24 hours the vomiting will happen. And the next one is delayed, it occurs 1 to 5 days following chemotherapy administration. And the next one anticipatory means it is a conditioned response, means it is a psychological condition which will happen before the usually it will happen several hours before the administration of chemotherapy, and it can be triggered by thinking about their medications. Why we are calling it anticipatory means it is not due to any conditions, it's just a psychological condition of the patients that usually occurs before several hours of the chemotherapy, which causes this kind of vomiting is triggered by thinking about their medication, means thinking about their chemotherapy. And the fourth one is breakthrough, means chemotherapy induced nausea which occurs as a preventative antiemetics and requires a rescue medication. Now what are the risk factors for development of chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting? There are 2 risk factors, negative risk factors and positive risk factors. We'll see about negative risk factors. Means chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting can occur with prior cycle of chemotherapy. Prior cycle of chemotherapy means whenever the chemotherapy repeats, nausea and vomiting will also repeat. And with light use of alcohol, motion sickness, and for females, patients younger than 50 to 55 years of age and non-smokers are the risk factor for or the negative risk factors for chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. And what are the positive risk factors means in positive risk factors there is no chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting with the cycle of chemotherapy and chronic alcoholism, pregnancy, and males. Next one, what are the medications used to prevent this condition? Means generally what are the receptors causing, before using medications we have to know what are the receptors causing the vomiting. We already seen that 5-HT3, 5-HT receptors, dopamine 2 and histamine and muscarinic receptors. For blocking the action of these receptors we have to use their antagonists. So first one, we are using 5-HT3 receptors, which is nothing but serotonin antagonist. For serotonin antagonist to block or used to block the 5-HT3 receptors. Drugs such as ondansetron, maximum of 16 mg per dose, and palonosetron, which has the longest half-life of about 40 hours, and granisetron and dolasetron. Along with the 5-HT3 receptors, we are using NK1 antagonist because it increases the efficacy in preventing the nausea and vomiting. Drugs such as aprepitant, fosaprepitant, rolapitant and netipitant. Along this, corticosteroids also add a efficacy, which is dexamethasone, but in here NK1 antagonists increase the serum levels of corticosteroids. There are some every drug will have side effect. Here also there are common ADRs: headache, constipation and hyperglycemia, hypertension and stomach upset. Next, what are the rules to follow before administration, before and after administration of the chemotherapy? Make sure to wait at least 30 minutes after completion of IV antiemetic premedications before starting chemotherapy infusions. Means before starting the chemotherapy infusions, means there should be a time interval between the antiemetics and chemotherapy infusion. After administration of the antiemetics, we have to wait at least for 30 minutes and we have to continue for chemotherapy infusion. And don't forget that antiemetics are not just on day 1. Means we have to continue the antiemetic dose for at least 4 to 5 days. And palonosetron and NK1 antagonists are used only for those patients receiving high or moderate emetogenic chemotherapy. Emetogenic chemotherapy means nothing but high emetogenic chemotherapy means nothing but where for the patients who are having high incidence of nausea and vomiting is known as high emetogenic chemotherapy, and patients who are having moderate incidence of nausea and vomiting are known as moderate emetogenic chemotherapy. Only for those patients we are using NK1 antagonists. If patients develop breakthrough chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting, means the 4th type, add agent from different drug class that was not used prophylactically, means such as benzodiazepines. Here we used only 5-HT3 receptors and NK1 5-HT3 antagonists and NK1 antagonists are as prophylactically. But if the patient develops a 4th type, then we have to go for the other class such as benzodiazepines and other dopamine drugs. Okay, what are the medications used to treat breakthrough chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting? The first one, in benzodiazepines we have to go for lorazepam, also used for anticipatory condition, and atypical antipsychotics such as olanzapine and prochlorperazine, promethazine, cannabinoids such as dronabinol, antimuscarinics such as scopolamine patches, and miscellaneous agents such as haloperidol and metoclopramide. These are the drugs used when there is a need of treating the breakthrough chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. And what are the general rules? Next, other conditions means we have to avoid foods such as which are spicy, junk foods, fried items and cheesy or greasy foods, and recommend frequent snacking in between meals. Don't forget about patient's hydration status. Make sure to encourage home peroral intake. Do not hesitate to bring an actively nauseous and vomiting patient in for IV hydration. That's all about the management of chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. Thank you.